Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children, I am happy to welcome you all for our online teaching academy Ekalaiva. For the class 11 subject biozoology, we are discussing the chapter Kingdom Animalia. Introduction about Kingdom Animalia. You know very well, living organisms are broadly classified into 5 major kingdoms, right? Kingdom 1, Kingdom 2, Kingdom 3, Kingdom 4 and Kingdom 5. Kingdom Animalia comes under Kingdom 5. What is Kingdom 1? Monera. Second one is Protista. Third one is Fungi. Fourth one is Plantae. And the fifth one is Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. In this chapter, we are going to see in detail about Kingdom Animalia. So, Kingdom Animalia is nothing but animals. So, animals comes under this group. It is said to be Kingdom Animalia. All the organisms in the earth it grouped in one particular kingdom, that is called the Kingdom Animalia. Clear children? See, Kingdom Animalia comprises of millions of animal species all over the world. Okay, so Kingdom Animalia comprises of millions of animal species, and studying them without a basic classification may lead to confusion. So, millions of animal species are there. Without classification, we feel very difficult to learn. So, classification is important criteria. Without classification, we feel very difficult to study the particular species. Okay. So, classification is very essential for identification, naming and assigning a systemic position to the newly discovered species. A animal kingdom is classified mainly based on the closely resembling characteristic features. So, all the organisms have some closely resembling characteristic features. Okay. Kingdom Animalia is characterized of eukaryotic, multicellular, heterotrophic organism. So, all the organisms comes under Kingdom Animalia are eukaryotic. What is eukaryotic? The organism have well defined nucleus. The cell have well defined nucleus. Then it is said to be eukaryotic cell. Then all organisms comes under Kingdom Animalia are multicellular. Multicellular means many cells. Eukaryotic means well defined nucleus. And then all organisms are heterotrophic. So, organisms comes under Kingdom Animalia are heterotrophic. So, it cannot prepare their own food, it fully depend on other organism for food. So, it is said to be heterotrophic organism. They include about 35 phyla. Okay. So, in Kingdom Animalia there are about 35 phyla. Among these 35 phyla, 11 are considered as major phyla. What are the 11 phyla? Can you guess? What are the phylum Porifera, phylum Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Hashiohelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. These are the 11 major phyla comes under Kingdom Animalia. Want me to repeat once again? Yes. Phylum Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Hashiohelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. So, totally 11 phyla are major phyla among the 35. Totally 35 phyla comes under Kingdom Animalia. In this 35, 11 are major phyla. Almost 99% of animals are invertebrates. So, animals grouped in Kingdom Animalia, 99% of animals are invertebrates. What is the meaning of invertebrates? They do not have a backbone or vertebral column, or animals without backbone. The remaining only 1% of animals having vertebrates are with backbone. So, animals with backbone. On the basis of presence or absence of notochord, notochord is nothing but a vertebral column. Animals are categorized into two major groups. First one is non-chordates and another one is chordates. So once again I am repeating, on the basis of the presence or absence of notochord. Notochord is nothing but the vertebral column. Animals are also categorized into two major groups. One is non-chordates and another one is chordates. Next one is basis of classification. Multicellular organisms are structurally and functionally they are different. So most of the multicellular organisms, they have different in their structure and their function. Okay, and but they have some possesses common characteristic features, yet they possesses certain common fundamental features. They are the arrangement of cell layer, level of organization, levels of organization, nature of the coelom. Coelom is nothing but body cavity. Then presence or absence of segmentation, and then organization of organ system. These are the some of the common fundamental features. So even though multicellular organisms are different in their structure and function, they have some common fundamental features. They are the arrangement of cell layer, levels of organization, that means cellular level, tissue level, organ level and organ system level, that is levels of organization. Then nature of coelom. Coelom is nothing but body cavity. If there is a presence or absence of body cavity. Then presence or absence of segmentation, notochord and the organization of the organ system. These are the common fundamental features. Okay. Then we move on to the levels of organization. All members of kingdom Animalia are metazoans. Metazoans is nothing but multicellular animals, and they exhibit different patterns of cellular organization. Okay. Among the metazoans, that means among the multicellular animals, the cells may be functionally isolated. Cells are separate, cells are separately isolated, cells are isolated, or similar cells, a group of similar cells unite together to form a tissue. So similar kinds of cell may grouped together as tissues, or a group of tissue forms a organ and then organ system. Okay. First we will see the cellular level of organization. This cellular level of organization is only seen in the sponges. Sponges is a marine organism. It is an animal. Okay. So the basic level of organization is seen. So cellular level of organization is the basic level. Cellular level of organization is the basic level. It is only seen in the sponges. Okay. The cells in the sponges are arranged as loose aggregate and do not form tissues. The cells do not form tissues. The cells are separately. Okay. So each cell functions as own. So the cells are separate. They arranged, the cells arranged as loose aggregate and do not form any tissue. That is, they exhibit cellular level of organization. This cellular level of organization is nothing but basic level of organization. It is only seen in the sponges. See the picture here, children. This is the image of sponges. It is a marine organism. It is only seen in the oceans, sea, etc. So there is no tissues. The cells separately functions as it is own. Okay. Then tissue levels of organization. In some animals, cells that perform similar function. What is tissue, children? A group of similar cells performing a similar function, performing one function, that is called tissue. You already learned this tissue in the lower class itself. The same concept only. Tissue level of organization. So in some cells that perform similar functions are aggregated to form they unite together to form a tissues. The cells of a tissue integrate in a highly coordinated manner, coordinated fashion to perform a common function due to the presence of nerve cells and sensory cells. As I said earlier, tissues are nothing but a group of similar cells performing a similar function. They unite together, they integrated with each other to perform a similar function due to the presence of nerve cells and sensory cells. Okay. So, the tissue level of organization is exhibited in diploblastic animal. So, tissue level is seen only in the diploblastic, that means only two germ layers. One is ectoderm and endoderm. Okay. So, the formation of tissues is the first step towards the evolution of body plan in animals. So, this tissue level of organization is seen in Hydra. Hydra is an animal or organism, comes under Coelenterata, phylum Coelenterate. As I said, no, there are 11 phyla. The first one is phylum Porifera. Porifera example is sponges. Sponges is cellular level organization. Now we are discussing the tissue level of organization. It is seen in that organism Hydra. Hydra comes under the phyla Coelenterate. This is the second one, second phyla. First one is Porifera, second one is Coelenterata. Okay. Next one is organ level of organization. We come across cellular level and then second one is tissue level. Now it is on organ level of organization. Next step. Okay. So, different kinds of tissue unite together, they perform a similar function, they coordinate with each other to form an organs. See here, different kinds of tissue aggregate to form an organ to perform a specific function, that is called organ. Organ level of organization is a further advancement over the tissue level of organization and appears for the first time in the phylum Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes comes under third phyla. First one is phylum Porifera, second one is Coelenterata. So, Porifera is cellular level of organization. Coelenterates means tissue level of organization. The third one, organ level of organization, is it is first seen in the phylum Platyhelminthes. See here, it appears, the organ level of organization appears for the first time in phylum Platyhelminthes and seen in other higher phyla. See the picture, this is the tapeworm. Tapeworm is an example for phylum Platyhelminthes. This is the third phylum. Here, organ level of organization. Okay. The next one is organ system level of organization. Again, the further advancement from organ level to organ system. What is organ system? Group of different organs unite together, aggregate with each other to perform a similar function. That is called organ system level of organization. The most efficient and highest level of organization in organisms is organ system. See here, the most efficient and higher level of organization among the animals is exhibited by flatworm, nematodes, annelids, arthropods, molluscus, echinoderms and chordates. So, flatworm, Aschelminthes, nematodes, annelids, then arthropods, molluscus, echinodermata, echinoderms and then chordates. So, here all these phyla having organ system level of organization. The tissues are organized, they unite to form a organs and organ system. The group of similar cells unite together to function as an organ, and group of organs together to perform a similar function with organ system. Okay. So, each system is associated with specific function. one organ system have one specific function. So each organ system have specific role, specific function. A group of organs unite together. They coordinate with each other to perform a organ system. So each organ system associated with a specific function and show organ system level of organization. See here, the organ system level starts from Aschelmanthus. See, Aschelmanthus. This is the picture of flatworm. And this is Ascaris. This is earthworm. This is scorpion. So flatworm comes under the phylum Aschelmanthus. Ascaris, and then it is seen in Aschelmanthus, and then molluscus, echinoderms, and then chordates. Okay, here all these organisms having organ system level of organization. It is the advanced level, then organ level. Next one, for example, the digestive system of Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes, the example for Platyhelminthes is tapeworm. Okay, so the digestive system of Platyhelminthes has only one opening. There is only single opening for the opening to the exterior, which serves as both mouth and anus. So one opening serves as mouth, intake of food, and it serves as anus, and hence it is called as incomplete digestive system. From Aschelmanthus to chordates, all these animals, all these organisms are advanced, they are well developed. So from the Aschelmanthus to chordates, all animals have a complete digestive system. They have two openings. One is for the intake of food, that is called the mouth, and another one is elimination of waste product, that is anus. So that is called a complete digestive system. So incomplete digestive system and complete digestive system. Incomplete means only one opening, that one opening meant for both. It acts as a mouth and also it acts as an anus. Okay, see the picture here. This is the tapeworm. Example, phylum Platyhelminthes. It has only one opening. It is meant for both intake of food and expel out the waste substance, waste product. Okay. Similarly, the circulatory system is of two types. One is open type and another one is closed type. The name itself, you can easily understand the concept. Open type, in which the blood remains filled in tissue due to the absence of blood capillaries. So due to the absence of blood vessels. Okay, so the blood remains filled in the tissue space itself. Okay, so it is seen in arthropoda, arthropods, molluscus, echinoderms, and urochordates. But the second type, that is closed type, in which the blood is circulated through the blood vessels and of varying diameters. It may be arteries or veins or capillaries. Capillaries is nothing but a minute blood vessels. So these three are the blood vessels of varying diameters. Okay, so the blood is circulated through the blood vessels. This type of circulation is said to be closed type circulation. Okay, it is seen in cephalochordata and then vertebrates. Okay, as well as in the annelids. Clear, children? So the open type is seen in arthropods, molluscus, echinoderms, and urochordates, and the closed type of circulation is seen in the cephalochordata and vertebrates as well as in the annelids. Clear? The next one is diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Diplo, di, that means two. During embryonic development, the tissues and organs of animals originate from 2 or 3 embryonic germ layers. If it is 2 means it is said to be diploblastic. If it is 3 germ layer means it is said to be triploblastic. Okay. So during embryonic development, the tissues and organs of animals originated from two or three embryonic germ layers. On the basis of the origin, the development, animals are classified into two categories. So, on the basis of origin and development, animals are grouped into two categories. One is called diploblastic animal and another one is called triploblastic animal. Diplo and triplo. Animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers. The external is said to be the ectoderm and the inner one is interdome. So, external is ectoderm and the inside it is endoderm, two germ layer. One is ecto means outside, external, and endoderm, it is inside, internal. So, outer ectoderm and inner endoderm, they are said to be diploblastic animal. See the picture here, children. This is the external part, this is ectoderm, 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 and this is the inner one, endo means inside, internal. Okay. So, the animal in which the cells are arranged, here see the cells are arranged, this each one having, this is all cell having the nucleus. The cells are arranged in two embryonic layers. One is ectoderm and another one is endoderm. Ectoderm present in the outside, external, and endoderm present inside, internal. So, the cells are arranged in two germ layers. One is ectoderm and endoderm, then it is said to be diploblastic animals. The next one is triploblastic. Animals in which the developing embryo has three germinal layers are called triploblastic animals and consist of outer ectoderm and then inner endoderm and the middle mesoderm, three germ layers, ecto, endo and the middle meso. See here, three germ layers, one is ectoderm and this is endoderm and this one is mesoderm. So, first ecto means outside, skin, hair, neuron, nail, teeth, etc. will develop. Inner one, gut, lungs, liver, etc. And in the middle, muscles, bone, heart will develop. Okay. So, the next, most of the triploblastic animals show organ system level of organization, organ system level, starts from the flatworm, starts from the Platyhelminthes, and end with the last phyla, 11th one, Chordata. Okay. So, most of the organisms having triploblastic, so most of the triploblastic animals having organ system level of organization starts from Platyhelminthes and end Chordata, that is flatworm to human beings, flatworm to elephant, like that. Okay. Thank you, children. To receive our online lessons, please press subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you.